Welcome to the Community Collective Podcast, a flip-flop agent production in collaboration with the Davison Area Chamber of Commerce. I am your host, Johnny B. Good. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Community Collective Podcast. I am your host, Johnny B. Good. In the background, hopefully you won't hear him. I have my wonderful son, Aiden, watching YouTube. Somebody's playing a gas station simulator, which is mind blowing that he actually watches this garbage. But you know what? It's a different time and kids do things that parents will never understand. Instead of looking to the future, which is what we normally do here at the Community Collective, we are looking to the past. Into the past, I am referencing our Festival of Flags that we had just a mere 2 weeks ago. And man, oh man, what an event it was. I am joined by my partner in crime, my fellow co-host, who today will be dishing on everything that happened at the festival and all the good things that we were there to witness. Mr. Travis Howell, how are you doing today, my friend?
Good, Johnny. Good afternoon. How's your week been going?
Oh my gosh. The preparation for a holiday week is amazing in the real estate business because all of my peers, God love them, they all jet out of town. So I love this week. I am ready to help some people buy and sell some houses. How about you?
Yeah, no, we are doing the same things. So I'll be honest, I am adjusting to a new lifestyle. As everybody knows, I work from home and then travel the community during the week. But now that summer's here, my wife and two kids are part of my new co-working staff. Where previously it was my dog and she would sleep most of the day. Now I get entertained with questions or, hey, I'm going to go, my son's in a cast. So hey, I'm going to go hobble down the street to visit a friend, which is sad, but glad he's getting out. And my daughter's been able to do a lot of fun stuff with friends. So this weekend is all family, just relax, enjoy things, and eat a lot of good food.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. I love it. So, well, let's jump right into it. I've got some questions here for you. So I'm going to take over
Yeah.
your role that you normally have for the Community Collective, and I'm going to ask you a few questions here. You ready for some rapid fire, my friend?
Oh man, the pressure's on. I am ready and excited to talk
All right.
everything festival.
Perfect. Perfect. Here we go. All right. So looking back at this year's Festival of Flags, could you share some highlights and maybe some memorable moments that stood out to you with this being your first year as the executive director with the Davison Chamber?
Wow, I'll be honest, it's hard to narrow down because being my first festival, working with the chamber team and the community to get this going, it was overwhelming, but still exciting once it all started coming together. But I will say some of the things I enjoyed most was first of all, my family was able to come up and spend time with me at the festival, which is always a nice thing. The other thing that I just loved is just seeing so many people from different age groups come up there and enjoy it. Whether it was carnival rides, all the delicious carnival food, but then just being in the entertainment tent, we had so much stuff going on this year that it was, I guess, the hype and the vibe going on was just exciting. It was a great week.
It really was, really was. No, that's amazing. And you're right. I also spent a fair amount of time up there with you as well. And it is really tough to narrow down one specific thing about it. I asked you a little bit of a loaded question there because when I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, I don't know that I have that answer either. We'll let that one lie because it was overall, what a great week. So the Festival of Flags is known for like its vibrant parade. And I know my wife, she grew up in Davison, twirled in the parades, things like that. What were some of the most exciting and engaging participants in this year's parade? And I will
Yeah,
say,
it's
I'll
oh,
answer
go
it for
ahead.
myself. Seeing you as what was your given to you or the grand marshal? Is that what it was?
I was the grand marshal, so it's
Right.
to be honest, I was hoping for a nice little, like, cape and crown or something like that where I could do a wave to everybody, but to be honest, it was really surprising. I did not expect anything like that. Usually, it is the parade kicks off a great week starting in downtown in the heart of our community, and usually my family is there watching it with me. So this year, it was my family riding with me in the front of the parade, which was fun. It's one of those things that you get to see everybody and the reactions and how excited people are just to be together and enjoy this. But we did. As we finished up, we were able to watch a little bit of the parade ourselves. And you get some different perspectives. You get my daughter who's 12, who is like, "What is going on? Why am I like, riding in this car with my family?" And people are yelling my name. And then you get my son who's like living the best life ever because there's
Sure.
fire trucks behind us. But you know what? I always say one of the amazing things about this parade is it brings, I would say it's close to 1,000 or more people in downtown Davison. And it's highlighting everything. Not only is there businesses, but in the parade, you have everything from race cars to tow trucks to dunk tanks to groups that are like baton twirling to groups that are dancing. I think candy and pizza were being passed out. So who doesn't love any of that?
I must have been sitting too far down because nobody handed me a slice of pizza. So I
You,
guess next year I'm going to have to rethink my location for where I view the amazing parade for the festival.
I know. I think you start at the very front, get your piece of pizza, and then head back to a quieter section and enjoy near the end where it's not as
Smart,
packed
smart
and
move. I
crowded.
dig it.
Yeah. I will say it was a fun atmosphere. I will want to congratulate the Davison DA and the city worked really hard to get everything ready downtown and talk about a community that loves stuff. And it's because I will say the team we partner with is DDA for everything festival, especially with that parade they organized. They did a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the parade was amazing as well. My daughter twirled in it with Great Lakes Twirling Academy. And it was great seeing some of the local politicians, seeing the businesses, seeing our civil servants as far as the police and fire department. It was amazing. And it really does make it feel like small town America. So you can't really go wrong with it. I absolutely loved it as well.
No, you can't, you can't, and I think that's what's fun. And what a fun way to just. It's a Wednesday when we have a parade, and some people are like, "Why is it a Wednesday?" But why not start your middle of the week with something really fun? Is my thought.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? And talking about the community brings me into the next question I have. The Festival of Flags, it truly is a community driven event. How did local businesses or organizations and the volunteers come together to make this year's festival a success? Do you have any stories about collaboration or the community support that you received through the chamber?
Yeah, so I will say I was not sure what to expect. It was one of those things that we, as the Davison Chamber, started talking ideas, and as the year started in my head, I was like, "Oh no, we have this giant community event coming up," and it almost started getting a little overwhelming in my head. I'm like, "I'm gonna love it," but the nice thing is I was able to reach to our chamber team, like, "All right, guys, we need input. I need your help." And no one was afraid to say no. Everyone was willing to do that. But I think one of the most important parts was, is it's a community event. So why not get community input on what best to entertain and for a community to enjoy? So I will say one of my longtime friends that I've really got to know since living in Davison is Ben Callis. And so many people know Ben, and I went straight to him when I became director of the chamber. It was like, "Ben, we need to partner together. I would love to have you spend some time." And Ben automatically said yes. And I was like, "All right, Ben, let's figure it out. Let's do a comedy show. That's your expertise. That's what you have a passion for." And that was a great example of he hit the ground running and we partnered up. And then we also included other people in the community, like, "What do you want?" And people were like, "We want some good live music." Like, "What do you have a good idea of group?" And someone goes, "Hey, there's this great 80s band called Cover Junkies." It's like, "Let's do it. Let's see if we can get them." And I think it's a good example of just allowing other people to be part of this process. And if we didn't, I think this festival wouldn't have been as successful as it was. But then on the other side, a lot of things have to have investments and from the community financially and getting businesses. I've been working really hard as chamber director to just spend time with business owners and employees and just get to know who they are and what they're passionate about and what they do. And I think that was very beneficial in creating some relationships and businesses just stepped right up and said, "We'll sponsor this event. We just want to be a festival sponsor, or we want to play a role in something that's family focused." And be honest, this was a really good year for us. to get new businesses and even ones that have a long history in Davidson that continued their part and organizing the festival and being there for us. And we said, hey, we have this idea. I'll be an example. Fernco is amazing. They do so much for our community. We went to them and said, Fernco, we have this idea, Fernco Family Fund. We would love to be part of this and help us organize free items or free things for families and kids. And they automatically said yes. There was not a hesitation. And I think that made our Sunday really exciting. The Fernco made it possible for the first 100 kids to get half off their carnival wristband. And then we had
In
Genesee Health Plans that was like, hey, we want to do something with like families as well. How about pizza with princesses and superheroes? And they jumped right on board and said, we're doing that too. I think,
I
which
love
is
it.
amazing.
I love it. If we could sit here and think about the one word that could encompass the behind the scenes work that went into it, I would pick the word collaboration. Is that everybody was so quick and excited to collaborate with us, whether it was through organizing and orchestrating events, offering their time, whether it was the financial contributions from our local business community. You just couldn't go wrong. Collaboration is really, in my mind, why this festival was so enjoyable this year and really
It,
went off seamlessly. And it made us look like our job was easy when it was realistically the hours and weeks and months of planning and collaboration with these groups that made it all possible.
it is. I completely agree. If it wasn't for all that commitment from so many different areas that week, it went nice and smooth. As my role with the chamber, I was able to just enjoy festival too. Once it got started and we got things up and set up with as a team, it was enjoyable. I was up there all the time and I was excited every day. Oh, today is comedy show. Tomorrow is the Davison feud. And then we have live music. And it was just more and more exciting things just to look forward to. And in my job, I am thankful that I get to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And having been on the board and been involved with the chamber for a number of years, with our previous executive director, Ladon, did amazing work establishing what the chamber has done with the Festival of Flags for close to 20 years, 2 decades worth of work. That was a major concern for those of us on the board, with it being your year one. But I will say you stepped up to the plate and you hit yourself a grand slam, man. You really did a great job and you set the bar high. And I'm excited to see where we're going to be able to take things in the future. So that really
Yeah.
does lead me into my next question. And it is, what feedback have you received from the people that were there about this year's Festival of Flags? Were there any particular aspects or activities? And you've touched on them a little bit, but let's really
Yeah.
dig into it. What did people really enjoy about what we did, whether it was in the entertainment tent, whether it was with the amusement, whatever it was? Where's that positive feedback coming from?
Yeah, it is. I think one of the biggest things that we saw a change this year is we tried something new. We did big entertainment every night. And it was trying to get something where families could come enjoy the carnival. And then in the evening, we could have something for adults too. And by doing that, it was a variety. People were leaving the entertainment tent and saying, man, that comedy show was great. Or for one of the biggest ones that I think the Davidson Chamber is really working on is giving back, investing in our community. And we had a night where our teams played a Family Feud style game, but every team represented a local charity. And they were excited to get there. And whoever won, we did a large donation to their charity of choice. But everybody was having fun. And then even though, if their team didn't get that donation, they're like, we want to do this next year because we're going to win. And we want to help our charity out, which I found that like really rewarding. That when people finish something, they're like, we can't wait for this next year or to see what you're doing next year. And then the family focus in a community like ours, we have to be family focused. That's who we are. That's who Davison and our area is. And finding ways to build on that. We had families that were excited about the half off tickets because they came and said, hey, you guys can your sponsors were able to make this possible for our family to get up here and enjoy it this year. And that, I think that's rewarding. Not that we always go for that, hey, thank you very much, or pat on the back. But when you see people just having a good time and being part of something, that's rewarding within itself. And we did. We heard a lot of good things. And I think the nice part is we also had a lot of good suggestions on how to make it even better next year. And I think that's just as important is the feedback we're getting said, hey, I would love this to happen or that to happen. And we're including all aspects of our community already. We want the 2024 festival to be bigger and better and showcase all that Davidson has. And we've already started that process of getting prepared for next year.
That's amazing. No, and it's so great to see the community come out and enjoy what it is that we're putting on. And there's always the run up to an event like this can always be a little bit stressful. Proper planning really does put us in a great position where we weren't stressed out. Things went off without a hitch. There's things
Yeah,
we can
and
control, things we can't control. And the weather wasn't as great as I wanted it to be for Fernco Family Fun Day. But you know what? There was still over 100 kids that received those free wristbands. There was still
right.
so many kids that enjoyed the pizza and pizza with Princess and superheroes. We
And
had a dance party under the pavilion. It was amazing. We really had such a great time.
it was just seeing it, even though it was raining a little bit, that I think our team came together and we came up with some ideas like, okay, what else can we do underneath the pavilion? And face painting. What kid doesn't want their face painted to look like a cool tiger or panda or anything? And I think that was fun just to see those kids, even though it was sprinkling outside, dancing with their favorite Disney character, or it was hanging out with Spider-Man. And that's what it was about for us. I think
Oh, for
as a
sure.
chamber and getting the community up there, just no matter what, you saw smiles. And it's cool. It is. It's something that obviously when you're done, okay, I can breathe, I can relax. And it's a bunch of teamwork that made it helpful and a community that showed up and supported us. And then we also had really good weather. So
Yeah,
that
for
I'm
sure.
very thankful for that majority of the days it was warm and dry, but it allowed us to be out there and people to enjoy it.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Now, as we finish up our festival recap, I've got one more question for you, and it's a little bit loaded, but I think you can handle it. As
Okay.
the executive director for the Davison Chamber of Commerce, what are some of the key takeaways or lessons you learned from organizing your first Festival of Flags? What are the adjustments or the improvements you might be making for 2024 and those future editions of the festival based on what you were able to experience this year?
Oh goodness, those are
I told you it was a loaded question. I'm
that
setting
is
up.
a
We don't necessarily want to show our hand this early in the year, but I think we learned a lot this year and we've got some exciting things for next year. So maybe you could just talk some high level stuff. How about that?
y- yeah. I will say it is. This was one of our most successful festivals in years, and I attribute that to obviously great weather and people showing up. I would love to see a couple more carnival rides just for that way there's something for all ages, for the young kids and for the adults to have fun. That is a goal that I have. I think continuing with some fun entertainment for people is something that I've noticed people are passionate about and that I learned what days are good for certain entertainments. We've, I think, learned what hours are good to operate. One thing we'll definitely pay attention to is the school calendar. I think we have a good
Right. Right.
opportunity to get some kids that say, hey, school got out for a half day. Why not go hang out at the festival for a couple hours and then go home for dinner? And I think there's a lot that we learned as a team that will make it more exciting. For me, it is getting over that first festival, like kind of stress and worry as like, okay, is
Right.
this going to go well? Is this going to, so going into year number two, I will know, it's like, okay, we can do this. We accomplished so much this first year. Second year's going to be better. But now I feel the pressure's on. We have to produce. But I like that. I like to know that we can do better. that we will make it better for our community. But a lot of things came away and we learned new partnerships that we need to have to ensure everybody continues to stay safe. Everybody continues to have fun, that we make it a community event with input from so many different areas. And that's what be honest, that's what I'm focusing on right now is I'm doing a lot of follow-up with all different avenues just to figure out, okay, what's your input from Davidson Township Parks? We were there. What would you like to see different from us eating with the carnival? And say, hey, we did so well this year. What can we do to bring more things here? It's a lot to take in. I keep my notes. I have my checklist already for next
Sure.
year to get prepared. And one of the exciting things that I love is we have been doing a huge focus at the chamber of investing in our local students. So during festival, we did 50-50 tickets to invest in our high school scholarship program. And our community showed up and knocked it out of the park for us. And I think that is something we can build on even more for next year is giving back, finding charities we can give to, raising money for a high school scholarship fund. It's bigger goals because our community cares and we want to be part of that.
Absolutely. Travis, as a parent and not as a board member, allow me to extend my sincerest thank you because it was a hell of a fun week. The weather was great. The people that showed up were great. Arnold's puts on a great carnival as always. Parks and Rec did a phenomenal job keeping the park clean and functional during that entire event. The city allowing us to park and have the gate open. It was an amazing. So I truly do appreciate and commend you on your first festival and all the work that you did, my man. Great job.
Thank you very much. I loved it myself. And like you just said, there are so many people and groups that were part of this that without them, it would not have been a successful thing. So I'm already looking forward to working with everyone again for 2024. If you're listening, be sure to mark on your calendar. Festival of Flags is June 5 through 9 of 2024. So June 5 through 9, 2024, mark on your calendars. Another great week of Festival of Flags next year.
I love it. I love it. Travis, thank you so much, my man. I'm sure you're scheduling more and more interviews for us for the Community Collective podcast, but it was nice for us to be able to reconnect and have a little bit of a conversation and talk about our premier event that the Davidson Area Chamber of Commerce puts on.
Hey, thank you. I really enjoyed being a guest on our
Yes.
podcast tonight.
So being a guest on our podcast. Exactly.
Thank-
Travis, thanks again, my man. Get out there and do some executive directing. Let's make sure that this community knows how much we love our business and our community as well. And thanks again for the time today, my man.
Hey, Johnny, I always enjoy my time with you.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Travis.